You. Okay, so welcome everybody to our Team Ontario onboarding meeting. This is, I know, a challenging night for many people. There are lots of school banquets and other things going on, track meets and other things going on right now. So thank you for taking a time out of your busy week to join us. Um, my name, I think I know most of you, but my name is Stephanie, Stephanie Marler. I work for Cross Country Ski Ontario, and I'm excited to be here with you. I'm privileged to work with a really great staff team. Katja is with us tonight. Katja Mathis, who's our coach and officials um, development coordinator, and she'll be monitoring the chat and the questions. And since I can't see who's on the call, I don't think we have any other staff members, and perhaps Timo's with us. Timo is the NTDC head coach.
Yes, he is.
Um, oh, great. Thanks, Timo. Alexander Maycock is our interim technical director. He and Jen Neeson, our Paranordic lead, are
Do you want to
currently
listen to
traveling.
this or do you want me to put earpods in or just not?
Um, are currently on their way to coach training in Canmore, along with some other coaches from across the province. So normally this presentation would be given by our technical director, excellence programs manager, but as you know, both at Nordic Canada and at XCSO, or maybe you don't know, but there have been a few staffing changes. So I'll be leading this presentation tonight, but I do want everyone to know that our commitment to supporting your athlete journey remains unchanged. And we're really confident that what we've come up with for you for this season for a camps program is a strong one. So I'll just keep going. So before we launch right into this meeting, I think it's really important that we stop and say congratulations, because the majority of the athletes on this call tonight are here because they've made benchmarks and criteria that we apply consistently year over year for people to be on Team Ontario. We also, as I mentioned, have some guests on this call tonight. We have potentially some select Manitoba athletes from 2008 and 2009 year of birth, along with their parents and coaches, who we've invited to the Ontario Junior Ski Team Dryland Camp in Thunder Bay. And we have some Nordic Canada prospect team athletes that aren't named to our teams on this call as well. So welcome to our guests on this call tonight. We're really excited to be able to open up our programming this summer for you to join us. So when we talk about Team Ontario, it's up on the slide in front of you. You can see these are the teams that make up Team Ontario. And although XCSO is a member-centered organization, and this is an athlete-centered meeting, Team Ontario is far bigger than that. And I think it's always important to stop and just recognize that, because Team Ontario wouldn't exist without all of the coaches and parents and wax techs and volunteer parents who are wax techs and volunteer parents who are coaches and race hosts and volunteer parents that are race hosts, as well as the staff at the various organizations that support you. So Team Ontario is a big team.
Can you text him?
Oh, can everyone mute themselves, please, if they're not? Thank you. Team Ontario is much bigger than just the athletes on the team. Before we jump into the details of the program, I always like to take 1 or 2 minutes to just back up a little bit so that we all know why we're here together. So Cross Country Ski Ontario, like any serious organization, goes through something called a strategic planning process. And for the athletes on this call that think, what is a strategic planning process? Really what this is Cross Country Ski Ontario's equivalent of a yearly training plan, except it's a 5-year plan. And so what we do is every 5 years, we sit down and we look at our strengths and our weaknesses and areas where we need to improve, and we set goals. So very much like what you do with your coaches every year, to decide where you want to go on your race trips and what your training is going to look like and what your goals are in cross-country skiing. And so when we did that, we came up with three pillars, strategic pillars, which are community, excellence, and leadership. And when we talk about high performance and our camps program, we're talking about our excellence programs. You've all heard that before. It also, of course, is community because we build community together, and our clubs and our coaches and XCSO provide leadership so that our excellence programs grow. So our goal for Ontario is to ensure that all Ontario athletes, coaches, officials, wax techs, and event hosts are consistently recognized as among Canada's best. So when you come to a Team Ontario camp or participate in a Team Ontario program or testing, just want you to know that it's as thought out as your yearly training plan is with your coach. And when we look at our excellence programming, there are three sort of key areas that we focus on. One is the camps program, which is why you're here tonight to hear about that. Another is the testing program that we've done athlete testing in the past, but we just launched a new program. You may or may not know about that yet, but your coach does. I will talk very briefly about that tonight. We also have a mentorship program, which I'm going to talk about very briefly tonight for coaches. And we also have under our wing a high performance program with NTDC. And so it's all part of a big package that's aimed to support you as athletes in your goals. You'll see along the bottom that we have value-based behaviors. If you won a medal in an O Cup in the last 2 years, you would have got one of our really nice new lanyards that has our value-based behaviors written on it. And we're really proud of those, and we communicate them frequently and deliberately because they really represent what we're all trying to do together as a province for our Team Ontario, our athletes, our clubs, and our goals. I think if you look at those goals, those value-based behaviors along the bottom, you'll recognize some of them. As a Team Ontario athlete, if you were on the OJST last year, you may recall that we really took the time to listen and had athlete feedback sessions. Listen to the athletes and what they would like to see and what their needs are at our camps. So we're always trying to tweak our programming in our camps so that they best respond to what you need at them. And by listening, we're then able to collaborate and connect and focus on your needs and have fun. And also, when we talk about living safe sport, we mean that. It's not just an athlete contract and a bunch of policies. If you were at the OJST camp last year, you may recall that we all worked together to come up with a way to live together for a week and had a little contract amongst ourselves and a plan on what we were going to do if we broke that contract. And that's really what living safe sport means. It means that we listen to each other, we sit in each other's shoes, step in each other's shoes, and try to figure out how to all work together in a safe and respectful environment. And we're really lucky in this sport because generally speaking, we have a very safe and respectful environment, and it's something we should all be proud of. So let's get right into the camp. So did this move forward here? Hang on a minute. There we go. Sorry. So how do camps support development? So as you know, you get camps in a variety of different environments. Many of our clubs, of your clubs, have camps. As a province, we invite you to camps. The Nordic Canada may invite you to camps, and they all have an overarching similar goal, which is to bring people together with common goals in an environment where you can refine your skills and work towards your goals. But one of the things that happens once you're on the OJST and OST and NTDC or Paranordic ski teams is you're getting exposure to new coaches and new peers. And part of that bridging and that piece of your development is to move to a place where you're comfortable and open to receiving feedback from a variety of different environments. I remember 2 years ago at the OGST camp, Brian Dubois, who was leading that camp, said that at this point, you probably haven't met half the coaches that are going to influence you as an athlete. And so being able to come to these camps, whether it's a club camp or a provincial camp or a prospects camp or a national camp or an NTDC camp, to be open to hearing what the coaches have to say is a really important part of your development as a person. It builds confidence and independence. And that is part of how these camps support development. Another way that these camps support development is that it also brings the coaches together for collaboration and knowledge sharing. So it's not just about you coming for your own training, even though we know that's why you come. It's about a much bigger picture in your development process. Let's just talk really briefly about testing, because I know that we have a new testing program and you know that too. But when we look at testing, we look at it from three perspectives. Let's start with the coaches. So when the coaches do testing with you, what they do is they look at your results, and that helps you guide your individualized training and decide where you're going as an athlete and what you need to work on. For yourself, along with the tracking of your training, it helps you build self-awareness about where you're at in your training and helps you with your goal setting. There's also a really important piece about reducing your race day anxiety, because you're practicing what it feels like to be under a little bit of pressure when you come to the testing. So we really hope that this new testing program that we've put into place, which all athletes on Team Ontario are expected to participate in, becomes a really positive experience for you. From XCSO's point of view, we're not actually looking at any individual athlete results with this testing data. What we're doing is we're looking for trends. We're looking for information that will help us, with the resources that we have, bring some professional development or environments for the coaches to get together to discuss areas where maybe as a province or maybe as a club, we can see for improvement. So what we're really doing is targeting professional development based on province-wide trends to help all of us become better. And then the last piece that I mentioned earlier was the mentorship program. And I just want to stop for a moment and thank Katja, who has really worked to develop this program. And what this is, and you as an athlete won't necessarily see it, but I think it's important to know what's going on behind the background. So we have this mentorship program, and this year, I believe there are 12 coaches in the mentorship program and 6 coaches providing mentorship. So what that means is that's 18 coaches from across the province who come together and share knowledge and learning to help you achieve your goals. And the mentorship opportunities happen sometimes on the phone, sometimes on Zoom meetings, and sometimes at our camps. So there's a lot of learning going on at our camps for everybody. So I just wanted to share that high level bits with you, because I find them interesting, and I think it helps to understand how we're trying to bring things together to support you as an athlete. I'm just going to stop for a minute. Katja, are there any questions or hands up?
Not so far.
All right. Really quickly, I thought perhaps we should post a slide on the athlete pathway, because we get many questions about this. The purpose of this call is not to talk about the athlete pathway per se, but I just wanted to drop this here. If it tweaks any further conversation with you, with your coaches, or if you want to reach out to us, please feel free to do that. So right now, the majority of you are in your club programming, which is your daily training environment, where you're having a really great time. Maybe you started as a jackrabbit, you're in a race program, you're having a really great foundational race experience. You're on this call tonight because you met some benchmarks, which brings you onto Team Ontario, which is an environment where Cross Country Ski Ontario works with the coaches across the province to put together provincial camps to support you in your high performance goals or giving you exposure to a high performance environment. And then another way that you can do if you're in grade 12 is you could also apply next year maybe to the NTDC summer program, which would give you 2 months in a high performance environment, like a 2 month long camp, to see what it's like and whether this is something that you want to do. And then once you graduate from high school, there's lots of options for you if you want to continue skiing. There's to continue skiing in your club environment with your coach and to continue racing. We have in Ontario the best varsity program in the country with a variety of universities offering well-funded programs for athletes that want to continue to compete and have academic development at the same time. And we also have NTDC in Ontario, which is one of Canada's 3 high performance training centers. Nordic Canada has a decentralized national ski team. It's kind of complicated, but easy to know that there are 3 training centers. And the national ski team athletes are in some of each of the training centers, and there are development athletes in those training centers as well. So if you're like coming out of high school and you really want to give it a shot, you could think about NTDC as an option for yourself as well. So lots of opportunities. And then, of course, through those opportunities, you get if it's one of your goals and you work towards it, you could represent Canada at one of those events. So just there's lots of options for you once you graduate from high school to continue skiing in a way that supports your goals. So let's talk about the camps. So we started last year the Excellence Camps program. So that's when you look at the camp opportunities that you've had as an athlete, you have district camps. And then now these Excellence Camps program opportunities, these are open camps for U18 and U16 athletes across the province, as well as some camps are open to U14s and some are by invitation only. And so what these camp opportunities are attempting to do is to bring athletes and coaches together in a really supportive and learning environment. So if you go to an excellence camp, typically you bring your coach with you. And so all the coaches come together and they work with you and to learn and to grow as well. This is not an Ontario Junior Ski Team camp or an Ontario Ski Team camp. These are open camps, but they're also really excellent opportunities for everyone to come together. You may have seen in the criteria that there is an expectation if you're on the Ontario Junior Ski Team or the Ontario Ski Team or the NTDC to attend one of these excellence camps, preferably in your home district. And there's lots of ways you can be involved. So when I talk about integrated opportunities, I'm going to give you one example of what's going on this summer that we're super excited about, which shows where and how these excellence camps fit in. So this summer, the NTDC and the Ontario Ski Team are having an intensity camp in Parry Sound from July 7th to 17th. Within that camp, we have a whole pile of things going on. On the Friday, there's an NTDC outreach day. So anyone who wants to come and train with NTDC and spend the day with NTDC is welcome to. You do have to register so we know how many people are coming. And that is with the Excellence Camps registration. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Also at the same time, on the Saturday, there is an Excellence Camp going on. So if you're not an NTDC or OST athlete, you want to go to an Excellence Camp in a really awesome environment. Peter Wiltman is running that camp. Thank you, Peter. And that will be in the Parry Sound area. At the same time, Nordic Canada is hosting its Para-Nordic High Performance Camp in the Parry Sound area as well. And then on the Sunday, there's a joint training session where NTDCs and OSTs doing their training session, the Para-Nordic are doing their training session, and the Excellence Camp is doing their training session, but it's all kind of parallel. And this is a really great opportunity to bring people together and to build community. I'm really excited about this camp, and I really want to thank everybody who helped put this opportunity together. It happened sort of piece by piece, but it's a really great vision of what we can be doing as a province when people are collaborating. So when we look at the Excellence Camp opportunities, there are many of them across the province. They're listed here. We're not going to go through each of them, but the easiest way to learn about these activities are you can either reach out to Alex Maycock by email. You can go onto Zone 4 and search Excellence Camp, Ontario Excellence Camp. There is a event page, like if you were going to a race, that has them all listed as we get the information. And some of them you register there, others it tells you where to go to register. And you can also go on the XCSO website as we have the information for the camps. They're on our events page. And if you can categorize by camps and they all just come up. So lots of excellence camps opportunities for all athletes across the province. Let's go into the OGST camps, because I know that that's why many of you are here tonight. So the Ontario Junior Ski Team camps, there are two. We have a dryland camp and an on-snow camp. I just first want to take the opportunity to thank the Ontario Junior Ski Team for being so willing to pivot from a September camp to the July camp. It was a real quick turnaround when we learned that the Nordic Canada Prospects Camp wouldn't be going ahead this year. So we're very excited to be hosting this camp in Thunder Bay with some prospects athletes who have joined us tonight, as well as some Manitoba athletes. One of the reasons that we're hosting this camp in Thunder Bay is feedback from some athletes who have been to camps in Thunder Bay, specifically NTDC athletes who said that when they were on the Ontario Junior Ski Team, the OGST camps used to be held in Thunder Bay, and they really appreciated being in the daily training environment with NTDC athletes and to see what it's like to be with them when they're training. And so we thought we'd take a shot at that this year. You can see on this that it says just above it that these OGST camps are supported by or in alignment with NTDC athletes. What that means is that in Thunder Bay, for example, the NTDC athletes are not in a camp environment. They're in a regular training environment. When they're in a camp environment, like at Parry Sound, they're really focused on their goals and their training, the way you, as Ontario Junior Ski Team athletes coming to the Thunder Bay camp, will be. So they'll be feeling less pressure for their training and more relaxed in training with you and being supportive of you. And so that's what we mean by supported by. Many of the NTDC athletes have also been trained as coaches, so they may be in the camp environment as a coach or as a training partner. When we go to the Silver Star camp in November, NTDC athletes are in a camp environment as well. So they're out there training in their camp environment. We'll be out there as OGST in a camp environment as well on snow, hopefully. Pretty guaranteed that time of year in Silver Star. So we'll be sort of together, but not together, parallel, sharing space, maybe sharing meals, but each of us focused on our camp opportunity. And then, as some of you know, that we'll be offering race support for the Western Cup. Not all OGST athletes have elected that option, which is fine, but we're really excited to be able to do that jointly with NTDC. I'll get into more details about the dryland camp in a few minutes. When we look at, so we started with excellence program, excellence camp opportunities. We've talked about OJST camp opportunities. We look at the Ontario Ski Team and NTDC camp opportunities. I won't go into a lot of detail about them, but here they are in front of you. So if you're on the Ontario Ski Team or the NTDC, these would be the camps that you're doing this year. Lots of opportunities to be in a camp environment. And if you're on the Ontario Ski Team, or if you participate in the summer program, you have the opportunity to be supported by NTDC on certain identified race trips. All right. Before we go into the details of the OGST dryland camp, are there any questions, Katja?
No, but it would be.
No.
Is this an opportunity for people to ask, or do you want to wait till the end?
It's up to people. This is a good place before we get into the details of the OGST dryland camp. If people have questions about what we've heard so far, this is a good time. This is a big information download too.
Not seeing anything as of yet.
Okay, great. Okay, let's have a look at the Ontario Junior Ski Team Dryland Camp in Thunder Bay. So this is the high level detail. We will be sending out next week a more detailed information package, but we wanted to make sure that we had the opportunity. I didn't want to reschedule this meeting again. So we'll go into some of these details. So as we know, the dates are from July 20th to 27th. The focus is volume. Now, Coach Victor is putting together the plan, and he will have ranges of volume for each day. So depending on your individual goals as an athlete, which Victor and your coaches will discuss along with you, if you're coming to this camp, to make sure that you're getting the volume that you need at this camp. We'll be working on, roller skiing, ski walking. There'll be some trail running. We'll have an opportunity likely with the Nordic Canada integrated support team lead, which essentially means strength coach and physiologist, to go through a strength session and some movement skills, as well as some other opportunities. We also are going to be focusing on nutrition at this camp. As you can see under the meals, I'll talk about the living arrangements in a minute, but the first 4 days, we're going to have food organized for athletes. But then the last 3 days, we're going to take some opportunity between, on day 4 to make a meal plan and all go grocery shopping together. And then the athletes can prepare their meals for the last 3 days. The accommodation is at Lakehead University. The accommodation there is pretty ideal. So we have one floor in one of the residence buildings, and each pod has 4 rooms with individual, like single beds. And so each athlete will have their own very small bedroom. And then you share a kitchen and a living room space, and there's a full bathroom and a half bathroom for 4 athletes in each of these pods. And because we have almost the whole floor to ourselves and there's a common room on the floor, there is a common space for athletes to come together, so that, everybody has an opportunity to be together, and aren't just in their pods alone. The coaches will be staying on site as well on that floor, with the athletes, in their own pod. So currently the coaching staff is Victor Wiltman, supported by Timo Poiris, Eric Denise from Nordic Canada, and the physiologist, Andrew Schmidt, will be in town for a couple of days. And then we are just putting together the roster of additional coaches from across Ontario that will be coming to this camp to support the camp. So very well supported camp coach-wise. Have 20 athletes coming to this camp. It's going to be a great environment. Right now, the budget, and I always budget conservatively, is running at approximately $1,000 per athlete, plus the flight. We'll talk about that in a minute. We never charge back athletes the cost of paying the coaches or feeding the coaches. There are some shared camp costs of the coach accommodation and the ground transportation that we need to move people around. But we're feeling that this camp is coming in very reasonably priced. It's because the accommodations at Lakehead are so reasonable in the environment that we're in. For travel to Thunder Bay, we have porter passes, which gives us a flat rate on flights within Ontario. These are the flights that we're looking at right now and these are the 4 areas that we would need to fly athletes in. The price, including one checked bag, is $475. That's a rounded number, give or take $1 or $2 per athlete. If parents have a different way that they'd like to get their athlete to Thunder Bay, we can talk about that, but I would need to know ahead of the booking window that I've got, which is between June 20th and a couple days after June 20th is when I would do the flight bookings. Last year, we had a miscommunication around how you confirm coming to a camp, and that was for a September camp. We are looking for at a camp that's just over a month away. So by Friday, anyone who said that they're coming yes to this camp will receive an invoice for a non-refundable deposit of $750 that's due on June 20th to hold your spot. Would also ask is after this call, if you change your mind about attending this camp, that you let us know in writing by June 20th, just so that we know how we're proceeding. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover about the camp, so I'm going to stop talking now and take any questions that we may have.
Stephanie, there's a question about testing, so we can get to that maybe at the end when you're
Yeah,
through.
let's hold the testing question to the end.
But there is a question about the flight price, one way or both ways.
That's round trip, including a check bag. It can be only one way. It would be half of that. If there's another way that you're envisioning moving your athlete around.
Question about local athletes. Can they stay in their home?
That's a good question. I think that part of the Ontario junior ski team is that this is a camp environment. And part of the benefit of the camp is being on site. So I think the answer to that is no. For athletes that are local that want to be part of this camp, because I think you're either in this camp or not. If there are specific concerns about that from a local athlete, maybe parents can reach out to me. The cost of staying on site is a very minimal cost of this camp. Any other questions?
Not that I can see.
Okay. The next piece, I don't actually have a slide for it because I tried to build a slide and I didn't have enough information to make having a slide worth it. So for the Silver Star Camp, we're to be working over the next couple of weeks to build a budget for that camp and to get accommodation that's suitable for ourselves. We haven't achieved that yet. So the plan for the Silver Star Camp is to provide an information package in the next couple of weeks. And then we will put out a date for a non-refundable camp deposit, which I'm thinking is going to be July 30th. So we should have a solid budget in the next couple of weeks. Get that out to everybody to have a look at. And then have like I said, a non-refundable deposit date of July 30th. Or 31st. The reason we're asking for that so early is that last year, and I think it's pretty consistent, in August, there were some pretty significant seat sales. And so we really want to take advantage of that because getting out to Silver Star to Kelowna can be quite pricey. And it allows us to purchase those tickets like we did last year. Anybody who was involved, we purchased the tickets in August. We bought flex fares for everybody, which was fortunate because we had to change the dates of the camp and had to rebook 40 plane tickets. So if we can get those flex fares on a good rate in August, that will be our goal for that camp. So I don't have much more information than that at this time. It is in December, late November, but we'll have information about Silver Star shortly to you. Any other questions around the camps? Whether it be the NTDC camps in Parry Sound, if there's anybody on this call who's coming to that camp that has some questions, Timo and I can answer those.
Okay, I'll address the OJST camps right now. So one question is, can we book our own flights with points?
Yeah, I would ask that if you want to do that, that you communicate with me because I don't want to be booking it just needs to be super clear. I will be booking flights after June 20th. So if you would like to book flights for your athlete, please let me know by June 20th that you're going to do that. And I would ask you to align yourself with this travel schedule that I've put up so that we're not running back and forth from the airport.
And it may also be for the upcoming Silver Star camp, but
Yeah.
for flights for that. Um,
I,
then
is
maybe,
that a clear enough answer?
sorry.
So I need to know by June 20th in writing if you're planning on booking your own tickets. Because once I start to book tickets, I just book them all in one shot. And these porter passes are not on a flex fare. We're too close to the camp to be doing that.
And do you have a deadline for the on snow camp with regards to booking flights?
Well, my plan, as I mentioned, is to book those flights in August, so it would be July 31st.
Okay. And
I will, I will, I we will, when we provide the information package and the budget for the Silver Star Camp to the best of our ability, know which flights we're going to be choosing so that you can make a decision about whether you want to book on points.
I had a question about the Perry Sound camp. It might
Yep,
have just gotten missed because it
yep,
was
I
that's
was
okay.
on
going
the
to get
tail
to it.
end. Oh, I'm
Yep, go.
sorry. I wasn't
That's
sure it
okay.
just got missed or
No,
not.
no, no.
But
Perfect. Ask
did I
away.
hear you correctly though that all OJST athletes can attend on the Friday in Perry Sound?
That's an NTDC outreach day. So yeah, that's an open day. We're just asking that people register on the Excellence registration page so we know how many people are coming. So if you want to have a day with NTDC on the Friday, the 11th of July, it's an open day. Yep.
And then there is a question, has any information been sent out about Perry Sound Camp for the OST athletes?
Yeah, so I know exactly who's asking that question, even though I can't see it. We just put out to the NTDC that there's a meeting about the Perry Sound Camp, and I need to forward it to the OST athletes that are coming to the Perry Sound Camp. I've been preparing this presentation today, and so that was the next thing on my to-do list. So my apologies if you're waiting for information, but it is coming.
Those are the questions I see now, except haven't forgotten about you, Sabine, about the testing. So we'll get to that as well whenever it's convenient.
Okay, yeah, so I'm just going to do I guess the final slide for what we've got for tonight. And then I was going to open the floor to testing questions and a development team questions if there were any. So let's just finish this and then, oh, did I not go to this? Did everybody see this slide or did I not get to this slide? My apologies.
Which one? The Thunder Bay?
This one.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
saw.
did I have? Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess the last slide just wanted to go through support system and athlete responsibilities. This is not a long slide, but just a high level reminder that um, that we're very excited to host athletes on the team, the junior ski team and the Ontario ski team and the NTDC and excellence camps at camps. But the clubs, we never forget that the clubs are the foundation of your daily training. And so what that means is we will always with a U18 athlete, And we try never to miss this. It's a new policy that we put in place last year. But if we're communicating with a U18 athlete, we will always copy the parents and the club coach. So as a parent or a club coach, if you're getting random, like easy question answers from an athlete that may be asking us, we will always respond with the parent and the club coach. It just ensures that we have strong communications um, um, across all platforms. And we also know that there can be miscommunication that happens really quickly if we're not communicating with the club coach, but at a team camp, we're making a training decision. So we just want to make sure that that everybody knows and understands that the clubs are the foundation of the daily training environment, and we respect that as much as we can with our communication. We also recognize that parents are really key supporters in athlete growth and welcome your questions. There's never, our phones and email lines are always open. So please reach out if you have questions. And if we've forgotten to communicate something with you, don't be shy. Please come and ask, because that's how we move together successfully. From an athlete point of view, when you registered for either the Ontario Junior Ski Team or the Ontario Ski Team or the NTDC, you hopefully read, understood, and signed the athlete contract. If you just signed it and you haven't read it, it's on the XCSO website. We know if you're 16 and up, part of having your race license is that you complete your safe sport training and understand Rowan's Law, which is about returning to sport if you have a concussion. And most importantly, to remember what all of our team values are, which are whether you're at the club or at a Team Ontario, or whether you're a Manitoba athlete coming to a Team Ontario camp, or if you are going to a Nordic Canada camp, that we all essentially have the same values and we're all trying to uphold them. And in this way, we can all move forward and have a really great time together and do our last shared value, which is just to have fun. And hopefully that's what these camps will do. Will help you grow and have fun with us together. So at that point, why don't we take, if there are any last questions, I'm going to stop sharing this now so that I can see everyone. I just want to stop the share here so I can see people. Great. So if there are any other questions about the camps, let's do those, and then we can move to questions about testing and development program, if there are any.
There's a couple other questions now in the chat, so.
Okay, great. I'll just open up my chat so I can see them now. Okay. Oh, that's a good question about the Solomon equipment. I'll check, Gordon. It's a question for our technical director who's not here. So, putting it in my notes, though. I don't think we've done, that would require us to do a bit of research, because I believe that through the Ontario Junior Ski Team, the orders have been with Fisher, but I will look a little bit further for you. Jack, can you answer that? We can't hear you. Sorry, Jack. No. Maybe you can answer it in the chat if there is a specific answer to that question.
Nope.
Oh.
We can see that you're unmuted, but can't hear you.
No, there's nothing. Okay, so what we'll do is we will research that and share that information with you, with the OGST. Canadian Cross Country Running Championships, November 29th. That's unfortunate. I guess that's there's really not much we can do about that camp, Sabine. So if I we're all going to have conflicts in our lives. Last year we moved the OJST camp to stay away from the OFSA running championships, but at this point at this camp, we're running into a ski race, so we can't move it.
Okay, I'll go back to Sabine's question about the testing.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks.
I think it's just clarification about who does the testing and where is the testing done. So she asked, is testing for just OST or OJST too?
So the testing, Sabine, the testing is for which club are you at, Sabine? Sorry, I should know which club you're at. I'm sorry. The testing is for all Team Ontario athletes, OJST, OST, and TDC. We're looking for testing data at the end of June and the end of September. We have had emails from some coaches, just talking about that, because I know that there are some athletes that are running track and field right now. Thanks, Sabine. Hardwood. I thought it was hardwood. So
Highlands.
if you,
it's
Highlands, sorry, Highlands, yeah, HTV, sorry, not hardwood. You would have done your testing if you'd been at hardwood, because I know 30 athletes were tested last weekend. So Sabine, if there's any specific questions about the testing, please reach out. I know that that the Highlands coaches have been involved in reviewing our testing protocol. If you're on the call about the development team, we're asking development team athletes to do testing to the end of September, but not the June block. But if your club's doing the June block, you're welcome to do that as well. It's your sound, Jack. There's something wrong with it tonight. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, that's a good question, Julie, about the prospects athletes. They have not put forward an offer to cover the cost for the prospects athletes. And we would be in a difficult position if the prospects athletes were getting funding and the OGST athletes weren't. Yeah, the prospects camp was not usually paid for, though. I know with my parent hat on, it wasn't a free camp. It was a subsidized camp, but it wasn't free. It wasn't fully paid for. Any other questions? Okay, so we know that I know that the athletes that aren't here can't hear me saying this, but there were many athletes that couldn't make this call tonight. So we have recorded this information and we will share it. I'm probably going to post it on the website and then share the link. But if you have any more questions after you leave this call or after we send out the more detailed information about the Parry Sound camp, just let me know. So my understanding about the prospects camp is that this year, because of the staff changes at Nordic Canada, they are not doing the prospects camp anywhere. Last year, in fact, actually it was BC that ran the prospects camp out west for BC and Alberta. So when we started to understand that there wouldn't be a prospects camp this year, that's when we pivoted and offered to invite the other athletes, the prospects athletes, to our camp. So there isn't a camp out west either. I'm guessing that BC's probably running one again out west in the year of the prospects camp. Nordic Canada hasn't decided that they're not ever hosting a prospects camp. They may host something next year, but this year, this is where we're at for this. Hence the reason we have some Nordic Canada coaches coming to our Ontario Junior Ski Team camp. Poor Jack. To have Jack not be able to communicate is a tragedy. Any other questions? Well, great. I really appreciate having everyone join us tonight. Now that I can see everyone, thank you to the Ontario Junior Ski Team and the NTDC and OST athletes that have joined us tonight, as well as the prospect athletes. Really great to, well, I don't see all of you, see all of your names, and I'm very excited to see. I won't be in Parry Sound, but I'll definitely be in Thunder Bay because that's where I live. So very excited to see those of you that come to Thunder Bay. And I know that Katja and Timo and the team that will be in Parry Sound are excited to welcome you to Parry Sound as well. Katja, do you have anything you want to add, or Timo, before we sign off?
No, I'm excited to have everybody here. It's my hometown, or now hometown.
Yeah, I'm just excited for the year to come up and see everybody soon.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening. I'll stay on for a couple minutes if you have a question you just want to ask me or Katja.
Thank you. I'm gonna
Thank
stop
you.